Okay, I've been doing several short video clips on the part design feature recognition facility in Catia V5. So what I would like to do today is kind of wrap these up and put them in the context of two examples that I'm going to do. These were done in or will be done in class soon, and uh, for those people who need the help, they can watch these clips. Now, first of all, let me show you what the problems are that we're going to be doing. I'll do this one. This is a very simple one. I have already created a Catia part file and then saved it as a step file. And you can pretend that this step file was sent to you by a colleague or somebody else done with a different program. Okay? Then I'm going to do this example. Now, probably these are going to be done in two separate videos. This is the first one, this is the second one. But I did want to point out to a couple of items here. Now, what I'm going to show you today in this video segment is an older version of Catia. And in the older version of Catia that I'm going to be using to prepare this video, the part design feature recognition toolbar does not actually have 4 icons. This one on the very right hand side is missing. In fact, this very last one is called the defeaturing icon. So before you once you read the SDP file into Catia, you can say and ask Catia to leave out certain features. For example, you can ask it to leave out fillets in a certain range as far as the radius goes, or maybe holes of a certain diameter. So you can defeature certain things that may not be of interest to you. Unfortunately, I cannot show you that in with the present version of Catia. Okay, so we'll just ignore it. You'll see only these three. Okay, so let's go ahead, and here's Catia. I'm going to read it. Read that step file. File, open. Let me see. It is on desktop. To be shown, there's a folder here, right here. Do it on March 26. Okay, and this is the original Catia part file, which I'm not going to open. This is the step file. This is the step file that was created based on what you see on the top. So you select this thing and you open it. And there we are. This is telling you that it was run basically successfully, and there's a report file that if you want you can go and check. I'll close this thing. Okay, so all right, let me switch my mouse here because I don't seem to be able to rotate this. Okay, see now. Yeah, that's great. All right, now notice that first of all, the part design recognition toolbar is right here, and instead of 4 icons, you have only 3 of them. The first one is called manual recognition. This is the automatic recognition, and this one is the part analysis. Now these two actually are identical. If you click on, for example, one of them, you get a dialog box with 2 tabs. One of the tabs says manual, the other tab says automatic. If you click on this, the same dialog box opens up, but the tab that's selected from the top is the automatic tab. Okay, fine. Now let's expand this tree. We can see that there's a dumb solid, or let's call it instead of dumb, can't remember the name of it. Well, I'll refer to it as a dumb solid. Okay. All right. Now, first of all, make sure that this is in work object. There we are. Okay. Now let's check this analysis first. I'm going to click on it. What happens is this dialog box opens up. This doesn't do anything for you except that it gives you information on what you have. Notice that here we have it says information on the rounds. Rounds are really fillets except that they're not internal. So if I had a fillet here, if I created a fillet edge fillet here, that would be considered as a round. Whereas if the fillet was between two perpendicular between two surfaces faces, it would be considered fillet. There is a distinction between these two. Now, if if I select my body, it's going to give you information on how many rounds you've got, how many fillets you've got, and the smallest round is going to make it this color, or this color, and the largest round is going to make it that color, and the same thing with fillets. So let me select this, select the body, and the body is of course this part body or that thumb solid, and it picked it, and then we say OK. So here's what it says. It found two rounds, and hopefully you can see where they are. One is over here. This is a round, and this is a round. It found two rounds. It didn't find any fillets, okay? And it told you what the maximum radius was, 0.5. This was 0.5, I believe, and the smallest round that it found is 0.2. We say OK. All right, and you can see that it colored it, so it found two rounds. This is the maximum one, and this is the minimum one. Okay. All right. So basically, it just analyzes your part in terms of rounds and fillets. Okay. Let's now go ahead and do a manual feature recognition. You click on it. Notice that this thing opens up, but there's two tabs here, manual and automatic. The automatic is, if you started this icon, it would go to the same dialog box except that it selects that automatic tab. All right. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We want to select the fillets. Okay, we want to basically extract fillets from this dumb solid so that if we wanted to, later on we can go ahead and change the size and modify the part. Okay, so let me select this. See, one face is selected, and let me select that one. The second face is selected. Now, if you had 100, for example, fillets, now this is not an efficient way. That's why automatic would be a lot better. But here I have only two. Now, there is something called here show label. So if you uncheck that, basically the naming on these fillets, the labels on these fillets go away. If you click on it, the naming come back. So it's referring to these this list that is taken. So it really doesn't matter. Okay, so now let me see for a second what else we're going to do here. Of course, we have selected it, but we haven't done anything yet. And then we say, okay, apply. So notice what happened. It extracted or recognized these two fillet features. Let me close. Well, I'm done with this. Okay. Now, if you want to see your original part or the original part, you right-click in work object, comes back. If you want to see what was the dumb solid after these two features were extracted, so you click on it, make it right-click work object, and there we are. Okay. You can go to these things and change it. For example, let me go ahead and this was the one on this side was 0.2. I'm going to change that thing to point. How about making it to 1 actually, to make it really distinct? Okay. So if you go here and say right-click, show it to me, Notice that this was 0.2, now it is 1. All right. Okay. Let me click on the automatic one again. Sorry, the manual feature. Keep in mind that unless the part body, the DOM part body is selected, it says I cannot recognize the feature. So because the features are going to come from the other features are going to come from this part body. So okay, and put the cursor there, right click in work object, okay, and then you click on manual. Let's identify any holes. So select a hole, either a hole or a pocket. Well, it'll do the same thing, except that if you do the pocket, well, of course, it's going to identify this thing, but hole has other features associated with it, such as the depth of the hole, whether it's a countersunk or you know, a blind hole, etc. All right. So let me select it as a pocket right now, and it says, all right, go ahead and select the uh, select the pocket that you think is there. Now the only problem is that I don't have a. Well, I can select this and see what happens, or I can select these two edges. Okay, let me select the bottom. I may undo it later on. Select this and then say I notice I didn't like that. Okay, all right. So let me let me select, instead of that pocket, you put the cursor here, right click, remove set. Okay, now let's go and select this and that edge, and let's see what happens. You see, if I selected the bottom one, it wasn't able to do it. The bottom, say for some reason, it wasn't do it. But I selected the edges on the sides of that thing, and it worked fine. All right, so let's see now. We let me close this, by the way. Let me close that, and we can go and well, if you go for example, if you go to the sketch, we can see where that pocket was, and you know, you can move this thing because I don't think it's constrained. Yeah, because it's not constrained, so you can move it as you wish. You put it where you want. For example, here you can even dimension it. There we are. For example, let's make this thing 2. Hopefully, yeah, it's small enough that it will not interfere with that radius. So exit. And if you want to see your part body now, put the cursor on it, right click, work object, right there. Okay. Okay, what else do we have here? Well, first of all, let's get the part body back. Right click, in work object. There we are. So the only thing that's left is this original dumb body now became this, which we can probably extract it as a pad. So you click on the manual once again. This time we want to find a pad. Now let's try, for example, let's try that top face or the bottom face. I don't know. We'll see, and apply, and we just wait. I think my computer went in the state of coma, so I just have to give it some time. It'll come back. Now, we'll wait for this thing to come back, but what I'm going to do after I do this, I'm going to actually, see now? Let's talk about this. It says that the parameterization has been complete. Basically, we have taken no more dumb solid is left here, and we can close this thing. You can go to this, for example, this pad. You can make the height of it, I don't know, 2 or 3 to make it really pronounced right there. And if you want to see the part body with all these things in it, so you say right click in work object, and there we are. Now, why is my pocket? Oh yeah, notice that the depth of the pocket was not high enough to go up there. Actually, you can see it on this side. but you can go and change this thing to probably up to last, and there we are. Okay, so what I would like to do is actually I'm going to stop this, but go back and extract it as a whole. That that pocket I'm going to extract as a whole. So I'm going to close this. Let's go back and read that step file again, because I didn't make any changes to the step file. So it was this guy. There we are. Close it. And let me just find this thing as a whole. So first of all, you put the cursor there, right click, and in work object.